Good evening. I'm Laura Nordquist, Deputy Superintendent of Benland Pines Schools, with a quick recap of our board meeting tonight, June 21st, 2022. I'm standing in for Dr. Cook. He's out of town and so wasn't able to do the recap tonight. We began with the lovely district recognition of Pat Welch from Ben Senior High School, thanking him for his service as a drama instructor, auditorium manager, and just general wonderful helpmate at Ben Senior High School. And we had several items on the consent for action. Those passed unanimously. And then we went into our reports. The first report was on the Benland Pines Schools online curriculum adoption process. That committee recommends Stride Education. There is an opportunity for community input. You can just check online and provide that input about the Stride Education curricula. We had a Sites and Facilities Committee update. That was probably one of the most important items on tonight's agenda. And the full report can be viewed on our website. I would recommend that you look at that. It includes a long-range renovation plan. It talks about our capacity needs within the next 20 years. One conclusion of the committee is that there is no capacity need within the next 10 years, but in the next 20 years, so 10 years out, we'll need 3 elementary schools, 1 middle school, and 1 high school between now and 2040. There were a number of recommended projects. Safety and security was a priority as always. And 3 major projects of note: Buckingham Elementary, the creation of a large multi-purpose room, addition at Buckingham; Juniper Elementary School, adding to the, part of the master plan being complete, which involves their multi-purpose room and a relocation of their central offices for safety. And then the largest part of the recommendation from the committee was the implementation of the master plan for Ben Senior High School, which is a significant rebuild of almost the entire campus. So that was the most important part of it. These recommendations cannot be enacted without a bond measure. It's very important to that the committee recommended that there is no additional taxes in consideration of a bond. And this will be discussed at the July 19th board meeting, so tune in for more information on that. And again, you can read the full report online. We had a fourth quarter financial statement from Leah Bibo, our finance director. And then a presentation on college and career readiness from Stephen Duvall, our director of college and career readiness, and his team. There was data presented from our high school students needing more to be ready for college and career. He and Jennifer Houth talked about plans for next year, piloting curriculum, working on the Healthy Schools Initiative, which adds prevention specialists to each of our large high schools, and then a curriculum review process. The next report was a description of our Excellence and Equity Review 2.0 and our strategic planning process. I presented that looking at the work of the district next year to come up with, gather data and come up with a 5-year strategic plan for the district. Next, our chair, Melissa Barnes-Delakia, spoke about our beautiful graduations in the district. She talked about the importance of safety in the district. She gave a short update on our student advisory group planning process for the school board. And she discussed a task force that she and Dr. Cook are participating in on underrepresented students in higher education. Superintendent Cook also gave a report addressing safety issues and safety needs. He spoke also about graduations and the work of our equitable grading team. We had many action items tonight. Dean Richards came, our Director of Secondary Curriculum Instruction and Systems, with the World Language Curriculum adoption. That was covered last month, and the board voted unanimously to accept that recommendation this month. Leah came back, our Finance Director, with a resolution about a supplemental budget, and then a resolution making appropriations and imposing a tax for our budget. Those were both approved unanimously. The board had 7 annual business resolutions. Those were all quickly approved. Moving on, the board elected their officers for the 22-23 school year. Melissa Barnes-Delakia will be the chair for the 22-23 school year, and Marcus LeGrand will be the vice chair. Chair Barnes-Delakia presented several board policies for action, and those included policies on weapons in schools, a board code of conduct, board member roles, and a governance process. Those were all approved. The board then went into discussion of a couple of items. They talked about their board member zones. Deschutes County has redistricted their voting precincts as a result of the 2020 census. So the board must review their current zones and what is the impact on that. They will report on that in September. They also discussed realignment of the board goals, aligning more closely with the district or the board's executive limitations, and they're continuing to work on that. Finally, we had the Administrative Policy and Regulation report. There were several administrative policies and regulations in review, including one on family engagement and one on administrative expectation for gender diverse student and staff support. Those are available for review via Google form, and that review process begins tomorrow and continues through Tuesday, July 5th. Finally, we shared some administrative policies and regulations that have been adopted. Superintendent Cook did that, and those include guidelines for volunteer facility improvement projects, social media use, rules of engagement for social media, and policies on public comment. And that's a wrap.